This episode is brought to you by Bleacher Report. How do you follow sports? From college football to the NBA, Bleacher Report brings you the latest news, live scores, and epic highlights from your favorite leagues, teams, and athletes, all in one app. Dive into exclusive shows hosted by your favorite athletes and original Bleacher Report series with breaking news, rumors, and predictions all season long. Download Bleacher Report to personalize your coverage.
Hey, it's Austin James. If you're like me, trying to live your best life while living with diabetes, you can relate to worrying if you're doing a good job managing your diabetes. I use the Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor to get real-time glucose readings and see the impact of every meal and activity to make better decisions. The Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor can help me live life with diabetes on my own terms, and it gives me more time for the things I love, like being a dad and a musician. Now this is progress. Learn more at freestylelibre.us.
For prescription only. Safety info found at freestylelibre.us.
Screwball peanut butter whiskey? Why the hell not? A little salty, a little sweet, a little savory, and always smooth. Screwball, the original peanut butter whiskey that's unexpectedly delicious. Visit screwballwhiskey.com to learn more. That's Screwball with a K. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2023 Screwball Spirits, LLC, New York, New York.
Kroger Delivery makes it easy to do your holiday shopping in a jingle. There might be a lot on your to-do list, but thanks to Kroger Delivery, you can get everything you need delivered straight to your door at the same great prices you'd find in store. Our refrigerated trucks always ensure that your groceries arrive fresh. And right now, you can save $20 on your first order of $75 or more and get free delivery with a Boost membership. Restrictions apply. See site for details. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Welcome to Post Game Podcast. I'm your host, June. I got my partner, B. Foster, with me. And today is Central Division Showdown, Episode 9. I will let my good buddies from FFSN NBA introduce themselves and the team they represent. We'll start with you, JJ3. Tell the people who you are and where they can find you.
JJ3, back in here chilling with y'all once again, representing the frustrated Chicago sports fans, and we have plenty to be frustrated about right now. It's crazy. But yeah, you can find me on that platform on all streaming services, YouTube, TikTok, wherever you want to look for us, you'll pretty much find us there. All
right. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. I gotta watch what I say because this is a pause friendly show. So I have to be careful with my words. Foster is He's monitoring the things I say. Tate, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people and tell them where they can find you.
June False, JJ3. What's happening, fellas? I'm Tate from the That's Rather Cavalier podcast, representing the best team in the NBA, the Cleveland Cavaliers. I also do work on the Steel Curtain Network and Fans First Sports Network. You can check out any of our Steeler podcasts. I'm actually on Wednesday evenings, Pump Your Brakes podcast. Friday evenings, the Homies and the Homies Overtime. Also have our own podcast, The Know-It-Alls, comes on Sunday at 6 p.m. And we got this That's Rather Cavalier thing going. Also tonight, for us late nighters, hey man, and if one of y'all, both of y'all, June and Foss, y'all probably got to do your own thing real quick. But come on and just give a post-game analysis. You know, you can be in and out. Pause. But yeah, we do that directly after the Monday Night Football game. Myself, and Big G.
Well, we have a post-game show tonight, and it won't be one of those things where it's an hour or half hour or nothing like that. But we'll definitely stop in for a second.
Okay. I'll send you the stage invite when y'all finish out thing, because we usually go over all the games We do go over all the games, but we can save the Monday Night Football game to one or both of y'all show up.
All right, that'll work. Hey says, let's get this out the way early. Happy birthday.
Go James. That's what it says.
I didn't want to say. I didn't want to finish it. It's all good, man.
Happy born day salute to LeBron, man.
And salute, man. Salute. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Fellas, as we always go over our weeks in this, we predicted what our records would be on the last show. I think most of us had at least 3 games since last Monday. We'll start with you, JJ3. How did Chicago fare from last week?
The Bulls was on their BS. They went 1-2 last week. I think at the time we were talking in the previous show, they were playing Milwaukee. They lost that game. They had Christmas off. They played Atlanta, blew a big lead against the Hawks, I believe, and lost that game.
Atlanta's serious though.
I mean, I'm not saying it to be shady.
Yeah,
potentially. And then they had another game with Milwaukee, and they beat Milwaukee in that game. So the Bulls are 1-2. I give them some credit for some pretty solid performances, honestly. The PDF file, who I didn't want on our team, who played well. Edit that out if you need to. But Josh Giddey actually played well, had a triple-double. I think he was probably the Bulls' best player in that particular game when they beat Milwaukee on this past Saturday. So credit to him for that, and credit to the Bulls overall for their somewhat aesthetically pleasing performance, even in losses. I mean, I don't really know what else to say about it.
I mean, you know, when you out there and you playing and you're showing effort and not getting blew out, it's kind of different. It's much better to watch instead of looking like you don't belong. Trust me, I know, right? So, Tate, how did NBA's best team do last week since we talked? You're muted.
That's a fine.
That's a fine. There you go, Paul.
Stay on it.
Yeah, man, I always get fined. But hey, man, so I feel like it's much of the same as it was last Monday when we were doing this podcast. Once again, the Cleveland Cavaliers are undefeated Monday to Monday, just like they were last Monday. They only had 2 games though. They beat Utah, and they beat down the Denver Nuggets. They scored 149 points, most points in franchise history. They're currently 27-4. The best Cleveland Cavaliers starting team franchise history. LeBron James' best 31 game start was 26-5. This Cavs team is doing better than any LeBron James team has done to start. Yeah, man, they're just playing really good ball. I feel confident every time they take the court. They got a game tonight on the West Coast. They're on a West Coast road trip. They play the Golden State Warriors tonight. So, you know, that's a formidable matchup. Even though I believe Golden State's only 15-15, we know what they're capable of. So, yeah, that's the next matchup tonight. Looking forward to watching that and, you know, going back and forth. Hopefully Detroit, your Lions, will be to put the game away so I don't got to pay much attention now. I can watch the Cavs. And, you know, so we just go from there. I mean, like I said, 2-0 this week. Hopefully goes to 3-0 tonight. And they're actually the Boston is second in the conference. They're 4.5 games back. The Cavs have won 6 straight games. The Knicks have won 7 straight games, and they're only 1 game back of Boston. So that's interesting right there.
Okay. We have a correction by Pay. He says, wait. Bulls smacked Milwaukee by 50 points. That's what's up.
I was going to respond, but it wasn't necessary, so I changed my mind.
Well, you know, whenever, you know, you smack Doc Rivers back down the Glen, you know, it's really being noted.
I mean, he's going to always be Glenn around here, so it is what it is. So that's not an issue for us.
Glenn, it is.
Y'all didn't never respect him as Doc, not even back in the day. So we just take names from people.
His mama call him Glenn. We're gonna call him Glenn.
That's right. That's right.
Do your mother call you JJ3?
No. My mom got
Okay.
a different name for me that my guys are not allowed to call me. So it is what
Right.
it is.
Okay. I get that part.
Everybody got that name.
Hey man, we all family, but you don't get to call me what she called me. You just got to accept it.
Right.
Well, Foster, how'd the Pistons fare since last Monday?
So the Pistons actually had a pretty good West Coast trip. Overall, they went 3-1, but since our last show, we were 2-1. We beat the LA Lakers on Monday, and then we had a very dramatic victory against the Sacramento Kings that we were down for most of the game. Jaden Ivey had a 4-point play at the very end that sealed the victory and ultimately got a coach can, but we'll get to that. And then I had hopes. I had, cautiously optimistic hopes that after the Cavs beat down on Denver the night before, that we would be able to catch them slipping on that back-to-back. But they got back right against us, and we fell in that game. So ultimately 3-1 on the West Coast trip. And I'm pretty optimistic and excited about the homestand we have coming up, and hopefully we can piece together some wins, because I feel like that Kings victory was very could possibly be a turning point in our season. Not that we were so down previously, but whenever you have some dramatic game-winning shots on the road on the West. It can do a lot for the chemistry and just overall morale of a team.
I agree with that, actually.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the win versus Sacramento, I mean, I don't want to single out the Pistons and say they were solely the reason why a coach got fired. But right after that game, the Sacramento Kings fired their head coach, and we're going to go around the room. JJ3, we started to talk about it offline, but I want to know how you feel about that coach being fired this early in the season. I don't know how many years he's been there. Was it 2 or 3?
I wanted to say it was 2.
Just 2? What are your thoughts on that firing there?
It's quite unfortunate and ridiculous that Detroit got a black man fired. That's just unfortunate, especially going into the year we about to go into. Come on now, we need as many brothers in high profile positions as we can. But
I mean, we fired Monty Williams after 1 year, so it is what it is.
Y'all don't like the brothers, man. What's really going on? What's up with that?
Hey, we made him very rich. If it's worth it,
You did make that man very rich.
The happiest firing ever.
He got handsomely paid by y'all, straight up. I did not like the firing, was one bit whatsoever. I felt like impatience. They scapegoated him. They're trying to basically pit De'Aaron Fox against him. Like De'Aaron Fox was like, "Yo, get him up out of here. I can't stand him. I hate him. This, that, or the third." Again, I don't follow the Kings closely like that, but as an outside observer looking in, that's what it seems like and sounds like to me. I did not like the firing one bit. He took that team to the playoffs. Was it
last year?
Was it 2 years ago, or was it last year, or was it both?
It was 2 years. It was 2 years. They beat Golden State his first year in the playoffs.
So, I mean, I don't understand how you just completely pivot away from him like that. He took you to the playoffs. You got a young team. He's shown some good things with that squad. What do you think the results are going to be now going forward if you're the Sacramento Kings? You got an interim head coach now for the next 60 games. He's supposed to flip it around better than what Mike Brown was doing. I don't agree. I think it was a panic move, and like I said, I think they're trying to pit De'Aaron Fox against Mike Brown to make it justifiable to their fan base and to any critical media eyes that are on them. But I didn't like it. I hated it.
Well, hopefully, Doug Christie has some success, because he is the interim coach. That's a person that has no head coaching experience.
Good luck to him. I mean, he played for that organization once upon a time, obviously. Part of the reason probably why he's on the staff. good luck to him. He's gonna need all the help he can get.
Mm-hmm.
I just, man. I'm completely against it. Why y'all get that man fired, bro? Why y'all do that to that, bro?
Tate, how you feel about that?
Oh man, I feel like Mike Brown is the best coach that gets fired more than anybody. He's been coached a few teams. He coached Cleveland early in LeBron's career. It was some good teams. He had some 60-win seasons. He had LeBron, mind you. But
wait, I mean to interrupt you. Did he coach y'all twice? Did he have
yeah.
Okay.
He came back, I believe, like after when LeBron went to the Lakers. Maybe LeBron was there. I had it pulled up right here. Let me tell you.
Burlington's Oh Wow Winter Clearance event is on right now. Throughout your store, you'll find tons of new markdowns just taken. Look for red clearance tags throughout the entire store for her, him, the kids, and your home. Score some serious savings at Burlington, up to 70% off other retailers' prices on clearance items. These deals on top of deals won't last long, so stop in today. Burlington. Deals, brands, wow. Prices and selections vary by location.
He coached from 2005 to 2010 for Cleveland, and he came back for 1 year, 13 to 14. So, yeah, LeBron wasn't there then, and LeBron came back. That's when they brought David Blatt in. But, yeah, he got fired after 1 year with the Lakers. Maybe it was 11 and 12. Maybe it was 2 years with the Lakers. Had the good first stint in Cleveland. I don't know how well the second stint went, but he was there for, I believe, 2 years again, 13 and 14. Had a lot of success as an assistant with Golden State. And I believe he took the Kings to the playoffs the first year for sure. This would be his, say, second and a half year almost. But went to the playoffs the first year. Did they upset Golden State or take them second? They beat Golden State.
So I think they won.
I know 1 year they lost in Game 7, right?
Uh-huh.
And then I want to say they had 2 back-to-back Game 7 series with the Warriors, didn't they?
You could be right. Well, maybe he took them to a 7-game in the playoffs. Maybe they didn't win. But, I don't know. I agree with something one of y'all said. It must have been JJ3. But what they going to do? I wish Doug Christie luck, too. I like Doug Christie. I'm old enough to remember Doug Christie as a player. My wife watches wife on Basketball Wives. I don't really like her. But, good luck to him, but I don't know what direction they're going in. They got De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis. I think they got some good pieces. But that West is tough, man, and I don't see them being – if at best they're a playing team in the West.
Right.
So, I'd rather have an experienced coach who's been there before than just giving somebody a shot and then you end up in tank mode.
Right. Foster, how you feel about that?
So Brown is a guy that the first year, first of all, he broke a 20-year drought of a 20-year playoff drought, which was the second most, I think, to the Detroit Pistons. If I'm not mistaken.
Good job, Foster.
So yeah, that's, and he, in that year he won the unanimous coach of the year. That was his first year as a coach. The second year he made the play-in and defeated the Warriors, like you talked about. And then they ultimately lost to the Pelicans in the playoffs. And then I feel like they underachieved this year. Obviously they went and got DeMar DeRozan, another star, to go along with, Fox and Sabonis, and they just weren't performing up to the standards. Fox basically decided that he wasn't going to, sign an extension, and that if the team didn't head in the right direction, that he was going to request a trade. So, ultimately he was decided to be the scapegoat. I don't know if he lost the locker room, but after the team broke down, after the team fell apart and lost that game against Detroit, somebody, alluded to the fact that these are the type of losses that get coaches fired. He kind of put, I don't want to say he put it on De'Aaron Fox, even though he made that errant foul that gave Jaden Ivey the opportunity to hit the 4-point to get the 4-point play, but it seemed to be a situation where Fox kind of shrugged it off and Brown put it on him, but yeah, they let the guy coach. They let the guy coach practice the next morning. They let him address the media. And when he was on his way to the bus or the plane to head to LA, they called him, I guess, and told him that, your services will no longer be needed. So, yeah, needless to say, as they say in Chicago, that was bogus. And bogus. And I don't, that I feel like like you guys said, he often gets the short end of the stick. He's obviously not viewed as a guy that can take team to the next level. And ultimately, they took the opportunity to get rid of him. So now it's on Doug Christie, and they've already lost one game to the Lakers. They've been swept by the Lakers for the first time in a long time, and they're left to pick up the pieces for what's the rest of their season.
Yeah,
why is the chance to prove that you're capable of getting the team to the next level? Can you really say that for certainty?
I can't, those aren't my words, but I've never had to fully follow a Mike Brown team. So,
hey, shout out to the homie Foster, man. He his podcast hosting integrity allowed him to throw his own team under the bus, talking about the Detroit Pistons and their regular futility. We can respect that, False. That's journalistic integrity.
We changing that though. That's the important part.
Right.
Good job.
So my question is, why is losing to the Pistons a fireable thing? They live on the same block.
Well, I don't think
they're one game apart.
I don't think it's simply that. I think it's certainly the way they lost it. I mean, this team was up 20 points in the fourth quarter, something ridiculous like that. And they just weren't able to stop the bleeding, and it just got to I don't think that alone. I mean, the Pistons are now starting to make media, make some buzz in the media, if nothing else, for just based off the fact that Cade Cunningham is playing at an all-star level right now. So I don't think it's about, we're losing to the Pistons. Mind you, we've been the worst team for the last couple of years, but this is most definitely a different team than if you think this is the same team that played that played everybody last year, you just haven't been paying attention, which, it takes a while for, us to make our rounds in the media, but they should, the league should be on, should know by now that we beat the Lakers twice in a row at home and away. So,
yeah, let's take a quick break and then we'll come back and we'll talk some more basketball. If you're watching, well, give us about 10 seconds. If you're listening, you're going to hear some wonderful ads. All righty. I don't want to get too far away from the Central Division, but there was also a trade made on the 29th, which was just yesterday, between the Lakers and the Brooklyn Nets. The Lakers get Dorian Finney-Smith and Shake Milton, and they trade away D'Angelo Russell and Maxwell Lewis to the Brooklyn Nets. And we'll start with you, Tate. I don't know much about Maxwell Lewis. Maybe you do, but what is your opinion on this trade?
Yeah, I don't know him at all. I think acquiring D'Angelo Russell for the Nets allows them to get off some money after this season. I believe he signed a 1-year contract with the Lakers for like 16, 18 million. So they'll be able to get off that. Finney-Smith, I think, helps the Lakers. They can use another 3-4D defender, 3-and-D defender. When you talk about pairing him up with is it Vanderbilt to play for the Lakers? He can hurt, but
when he's not in street clothes, but yeah.
Right. But I mean, that gives them 2 long wing defenders. I mean, throw them guys in there with Braun and AD, and I don't know who their crunch time point guard is. It's not Bronny. Speaking
Reeves.
of with Bronny, who is it?
Right now, it's Reeves. What's his first name?
Austin.
Austin. I knew it started with A. Yeah.
Right. But speaking of it, just because that came up, my Cavs junior varsity player Monty Bates was cooking Bronny the other day in the G League.
Saw that.
He scored 30, shot 7-11 from 3. Bronny only shot 37% from the field and scored 15 points. Man.
Monty Bates being from Ipsy. Shout out to Ipsy.
Right there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he is from Michigan. That's right.
That's my hometown. So, yeah, for sure.
Okay. Yeah, man. So, I mean, I think it helps the Lakers to acquire Dorian Finney-Smith. And who else did they get from Brooklyn?
They got Shake Milton.
Yeah, that helps too. That's just hey, man, you can never, in the NBA, in the NFL, in any sport, you can never have too much talent. I say from a talent and fit perspective, the Lakers got the best of that deal. I feel like D'Angelo Russell is a lackluster defender. He's a me player. He needs the ball in his hand. You're not going to get the ball in your hands when you play with LeBron James. So, I mean, it works for both teams. I guess the win for Brooklyn is they're going to get off some money. And the win for the Lakers is they got another wing defender, and they can hit the three. And Shake Milton can be points off the bench.
Yeah. JJ3, what do you think about that trade?
I mean, I don't really have too much to add off what Tate said. I pretty much agree with 99.9% of it. Yeah, D'Angelo Russell can be a little me, myself, and I-ish out there on the court at times. But at the same time, I mean, isn't that mainly the role that the Lakers have put him in? Like, haven't they sort of put him in a position of be instant offense for us when you come in? Like, doesn't he typically have the green light? I mean, and LeBron, from what I've been told for 2 decades, is a pass first player, so he should have no problem sharing the spotlight and the ball with a guy who likes to shoot. So I understand the trade because, again, like I said, he can be a little me, myself, and I-ish at times, but I do feel like to a certain extent, it's kind of 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other, as my moms and grandmoms would say. Like, did they really get better with this incrementally? Is it something that's going to propel them to the 1 seed in the conference? Of course not. It's not going to make a huge difference in the grand scheme of things. And the Lakers and LeBron, especially at this stage, is all about championships. It isn't a championship move. It's a move to shed a little bit of salary, get a player that Redick likes, who he thinks can help out on the defensive end, like Tate said, based on his size and his athleticism and his wingspan. So in that regard, good business. D'Angelo Russell goes right back to Brooklyn, a place that he's been familiar with and has some success and made an all-star team appearance with the Nets many, many years ago. So, I mean, good trade from that standpoint for both sides of it.
Is that expiring deal?
Is
D'Angelo Russell is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Foster, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that when you got a guy like LeBron, you can never have enough guys that can spot up in the corners and hit threes. I feel like every year they're seeking out players like that. Every year, even guys like Malik Beasley.
Well, and that's why it falls to your point and what JJ3 said that D'Angelo Russell didn't fit. LeBron had no problem giving it up. If you spotting up open and you cut into the basket, D'Angelo Russell needs the rock in his hand to actually do something.
Right.
He likes to have it for sure.
Yeah. That's where it differs. And in my head, I was thinking, well, they don't have a whole lot of point guards. I mean, Austin Reeves, I think, is the starting point guard technically. But I know that's not his style by trade. I know he had a lot of turnovers against the Pistons, and it was one of the reasons why they struggled. But Shake Milton could possibly provide some type of stability as far as that's concerned. Because I think the only other point guard is Vincent. What's his name? Fred Vincent or Troy?
It's Vincent from Miami Heat.
Miami, yeah.
Yeah.
Gabe
Vincent, yeah. But yeah, so yeah, they're definitely gonna need some guys that can provide stability at the point guard position. But like you said, it's not going to move the needle enough to push them in a championship type thing. Maybe them dropping off some of that salary will open things up for a bigger trade to happen at the deadline for them, whether it's, I don't know, Levine or I don't know. But
come get him. He's yours.
Yeah, I just do that. I figured I might get a little response out of that, but yeah, I don't think that I don't think it's a major move. I think it's a sign of possibly more moves to happen later on. So nothing crazy.
Okay. Now, most of our teams are have played either 31 or 32 games. The halfway season part of the season is at 41 from an 82 game season. I think we have a big enough sample size to look at our teams and pick out an MVP. JJ3, do you have your team's MVP and why?
The MVP of the Bulls is Nikola Vucevic.
Gucci man.
Yeah, man, it's him. I'll give him the MVP trophy for the Bulls at this moment in time. I mean, Zach leads the team in scoring, but it's Zach. He gonna make sure he get buckets like that. But Vucevic, he's averaging 20 points. He's averaging practically 10 rebounds. I mean, he's literally at 9.9 as they're playing tonight. They're actually losing tonight.
I would say 10.
Yeah. So I mean, he basically giving you a double every single time you take the court. His wins, or excuse me, his productivity, his points, his rebounds have been the biggest determining factor in terms of their wins this season. They don't have a ton of them. They got more than they should, in my opinion, but his productivity has still led to them winning games more so than any other player on the court. If there was going to be a secondary MVP runner-up, at that point, yeah, I'd probably give it to Zach. But for what they've done so far to this point, it's Nikola Vucevic. He's arguably having an all-star caliber campaign to this point for the season. And whether or not he makes it, different discussion.
He's definitely been balling. I've been paying attention to him. He's been doing his thing. Tate, who's the Cleveland Cavaliers MVP right now? And why?
It could be easy to say and be low-hanging fruit that I'll walk by and ignore. I want to climb the tree and get up there and get my fruit. So I'm gonna go ahead and say Evan Mobley, man. I mean, he's the most talented player. Whether he's the best player right now, he's not. That's Donovan Mitchell. He's the most talented player, and he's averaging 19, 9, and 3 and a block and a half a game. The other night when they played Denver, he was 4 or 6 from 3-point range. So I believe he's shooting 35% from 3. That's what they want him to work on. He's attacking the basket more this year in his career than he ever has. I believe his attacks have gone up by half, 50%. So, I mean, yeah, he's the glue guy. I mean, we know Donovan and Darius handle the ball. They're going to get their buckets. They're great three-point shooters and all that. But when you're talking from a holistic perspective, when you're talking about on the offensive end, guarding one of the better offensive players, you talk. I mean, on the other team's offensive end, on the defensive end, he's guarding one of the team's better players. On the offensive end, he's contributing 19 a game and being a factor, drawing double teams, getting 3 assists for a big man. Unless you Joker, that's really good. I mean, because he's probably the tertiary option. He's like the third option, handling the ball behind the guards. He's just doing everything he needs to do to make this team good. So, I go with him definitely. Mr. Unsung is Jared Allen. I mean, so, yeah. So right now, Donovan Mitchell's the best player. Evan Mobley's the most talented. And because of that, and because of him being the glue guy and fitting in with everybody on the team, he's my MVP.
Okay. Foster, I think it's well, I'll let you go ahead. Who's your MVP for the Detroit Pistons?
I think our undisputed MVP thus far is Cade Cunningham. He's having when you talk about, improved player, I think he has taken that next jump and improved somewhat as far as, protecting the ball, not having as many turnovers. But essentially, he's not only on the offensive side of the ball, he's also, I think, taking another step defensively as well. He's averaging 24 points a game and just about 10 assists. And he's been a consistent player for us every night. He's been healthy, and he could very well be having an all-star season. We'll have to wait and see. As far as a honorable mention, Malik Beasley has definitely come in and been a nice veteran presence. He's provided floor spacing. He's at the top of the league of 3 points made, and has shot a pretty good percentage as well. So I think that he's been every bit as important in just providing stability, giving us some firepower off the bench, and being nearly as consistent as Cade has been. He had an off game against Denver, which is the team that drafted him. He's played on, I think, 4 or 5 teams at this point, but Denver's ultimately the team that drafted him, and he had a rough game and had some words with Russell Westbrook, which was kind of fun to watch. But yeah, overall, he has been, very, very, very pivotal in turning this team around and putting them in a position to possibly be a playoff team.
Okay. Now we do this every week.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Absolutely.
So, Cade Cunningham, right, the best player on Detroit, a potential all-star. I mean, Cade is a beast. That 2021 draft, y'all got Cade at the number 1 pick.
Correct.
Yeah,
I don't think y'all pointed at all. I wish they had went another direction. We could have got Cade. I mean, I'm happy how it worked out now. I mean, who I did want is Jalen Green, but Houston's looking good. Do you think any of those first 3 picks are disappointing? Do you think Houston's disappointed in Jalen Green?
I think if you had to pick one out of the 3 that hasn't played up to to expectation, it would be Jalen Green out of those 3. Not saying he's not playing well. I'm just saying out of those 3, because Mobley and Cade are doing it every night, and they have been. And Jalen Green has had some games where it's like, okay, what are you doing, buddy? More so than any all-star type of appearances that he had. Now, his athleticism is off the charts. He's a dog, but he just hasn't put it together on a consistent basis.
And that's it right there, June. You kind of gave me an explanation without even trying to give me an explanation. I think Cade Cunningham and Evan Mobley are both potential all-stars, potentially this year.
Yeah.
And Jalen Green hasn't reached that level yet.
Yeah, he's not even mentioned in the same breath as all-star at all. But not to diminish what he's doing. I'm just, if you had to pick one out of those 3 to be left off an all-star ballot, you're definitely going to leave Jalen Green off that list and keep those other 2.
Right.
But to just show how strong the class is, I mean, Green has averaged about 19-ish, 20 points. I mean, I didn't really look at that.
I was going to bring that up too, Foster.
Yeah, I'm not diminishing what he does.
Numbers.
Yeah, I'm not just saying out of
college, just not at the same level.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the Rockets are doing well. I mean, obviously they got a lot. Right. They have a nice supporting cast. They're a very deep team, but they can only, I mean, they did end up giving him some form of a extension this year, but I mean, the team's doing well as a cast, so they can't complain too much.
Yeah, that draft in particular, we knew Cade was going to be here, but at the same time, there were questions. Should we go after Green? Should we get Mobley? Those were lingering questions between me and Foster when we did our show. Like, is Cade the player we need and want? And those 3 players are pretty good. And I think
Barnes too.
Yeah, Barnes. Forget Barnes.
he's all right.
he be balling, man. He always do the Pistons dirty. So it's like
now maybe with the Rockets draft, Barnes over Green, knowing what they know now.
They probably would.
Yeah,
They probably would. We do this every week, and we have upcoming games from here until Monday, which is usually 3 or 4 games. We'll start with you, Tate. Who you got coming up, and what is your prediction record for the week?
Coming up, tonight we got Golden State, like I said earlier. Then tomorrow, going from Northern Cali down to SoCal, we go down to LA and take on the Lakers.
Good.
And then we come back home on Friday and play the Dallas Mavericks. No, we go to Dallas. So next 3 tough games on the West Coast road trip. You got Golden State tonight, you got the Lakers tomorrow night, and you got Dallas on Friday. So, they're about to be tested, but I really feel confident in every game the Cavs going to. Now, it's their style of play, man. They're the best shooting team in the league as far as three-point percentage and one of the highest scoring teams in the league, I think top 2 or 3. I mean, they're efficient. And I like JB Bickerstaff, but Kenny Atkinson's just brought a whole new offensive mindset and picked up the pace to where we can compete offensively with anybody. And when you got to get it out the mud and get down and dirty defensively, we got some defenders on that team that can get it like that too. So I like where we at. So the next 3 games, Golden State, Lakers, and Dallas. We're going to jump out there, man. Let's keep this thing going Monday to Monday. We're going to be 3-0 again.
Okay. I love the confidence, especially beat the Lakers for sure. JJ3, who the Bulls facing this week?
Well, the Bulls are playing right now, playing in Charlotte against the Hornets. I think it's a 2-point game when I checked it a second ago. First quarter just came to it again. I expect the Bulls to actually win this game tonight on the road against the Hornets. After that, they go to Washington. I'm expecting them to win that game. Then they play the Knicks. I hate the Knicks. I wish the Knicks would go 0-82 every single season. I hate the Knicks.
Does this go back to the Van Gundy days as well?
This definitely goes back to the 90s, man. Straight up. I'll never.
Yeah, that's Pat Riley problem.
Anything but disdain and fueled hatred from the bottom of my stomach on the New York Knicks. But the Knicks will probably beat us in that game. So the Bulls will be 2-1 at that point. And if I stretch it all the way to next Monday, they play the Spurs. I expect the Spurs to win that game. So if I take it Monday to Monday, I'm looking for the Bulls to be 2-2.
Okay.
You don't got them beating the Spurs?
No, I don't actually.
I think that's a possible win though.
So I do agree it's a possible win. I'm just picking against them.
Right.
I think Wemby gonna come in here and because that's, if I'm right, that's a home game for the Bulls. Let me double check. Yeah, January 6th. So home game for the Bulls. I should low key go to that game, by the way. But home game for the Bulls. I expect Wemby to pull that out. I expect the Spurs to win. So 2-2.
Okay. Foster, what's the Pistons outlook? I think it's 4 games until next Monday.
The 4th game would be Monday, but so we got the Magic, Hornets, and Timberwolves coming up, and then the Trailblazers on Monday, which is actually a pretty light schedule considering I feel like most of the time we got just some NBA monsters on our schedule, but the Magic are pretty beat up. I think both Wagners are out for the year, and then in Banchero, maybe they're not out for the year, but both Wagner brothers are out, and Banchero is out. So that's a team that still plays pretty physical, plays pretty tough, but they're pretty shorthanded. So I think the Pistons can win that game. The Hornets is a team that we've lost to 2 times already this year in buzzer beater type fashion, but they're pretty banged up as well. I think I'm pretty sure LaMelo Ball and Miller are out this game. Miller has been a Piston killer as of late. So I think that's another game that we should be able to win. I think it is the Timberwolves game that's going to give us the most trouble. So we'll see about that. But I think that we'll go 2-1 up until Monday, and then we better beat the Blazers. The Blazers are awful.
Let me ask you. Let me ask you, because you like to. I think you're a low-key season ticket holder and don't say anything. Are you going to any of those games, Foster?
I'm going to the Magic game. Yeah, I'm going to the Magic.
I didn't know that.
I'm going to the Magic and Minnesota game. I got some time off.
You're going to 2 games, you said.
Christ. Yeah, man.
Yeah, you definitely a season ticket holder, bro. He calls you out.
I wish.
This guy here, man. Okay, me and him, we're partners, right? This is my co-host and this is my friend, right? So why out of the blue during the Tiger season, we have a show and this guy is in Houston watching the Tigers play.
It's a big game, man.
Didn't say anything. Couldn't wish him safe travels, anything. He's just there in the stands. Hey, I'm here. I'm okay. And then he goes to Minnesota, the Twins? You went to go see play the Twins in a regular season game? Who sees their team go play Minnesota in a regular season game?
A true fan.
Right. He a fan.
Or a person with a lot of money.
Fans first.
Or a person with a lot of money and no job.
No job.
I hope the
Fed employment is watching basketball games and sports.
Hey, man. Hey, something is wrong here. I gotta work every day. I can't afford the games. So hey, there's something gotta give.
That's why you can afford the games.
Anyway, this is the time in the show. We'll go ahead and we'll get out of here because me and Foster, we have to blog on the Lions game, and we definitely want to be there on time. Give Foster some time to get his snacks together and stuff like that. JJ3, if you can tell the people where they can where they can find you, when's your next show, anything you want the people to know out there. Money laundering false. Yeah, I believe so.
Hey, that was clever right there. Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan Network, man. Finally made the intro. Shout out to Pay. Took him forever. All this work I'm putting in, and brother forgot me off the intro that first time. I had to.
That's just horrible.
To put my foot on his neck for the disrespect. Like, what's going on? But yeah, that's where you can find me. JJ3 is here on Blue Sky. I am JJ3 on Instagram. Like I said, on all your streaming platforms and services, you can find a Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan. So that's what's up.
Tate.
Yeah, man. I just want to piggyback off what JJ Trey said, man. Pay always late to everything, man. So, and right now, I'm in a position where tonight, I believe he's gonna win our fantasy league championship. And he got Amon-Ra St. Brown, and the other guy got your kicker Bates. So in order for Pay to lose, Bates got to outscore St. Brown by 10 points.
By 10 points.
I don't think that's happening.
Nah.
But I say that to say, so Pay got some winnings coming, substantial winnings coming. And I can do like I do and hit his Cash App right away, right after the game, or I could do some Pay and get his money like Saturday or Sunday. So we'll see how that goes, man. I usually don't play with folk money though, but I just want to make that point to Pay when he always slowed everything.
He's gonna talk about these wins regardless. You know that. He's gonna run his mouth for a hot minute.
Oh yeah, man. He did so much talking the other day on the homies. I compiled the records. He gonna say, "Oh, I ain't care early because we weren't playing for." He said we weren't playing for no money. He said we weren't playing for that much money. But Pay got a 51% winning percentage over 10 years. I'm at 69% over 10 years. But this is his third championship in 10 years. I got 2. So I was in the playoffs. Jalen Hurts got hurt that game, my first playoff game.
That's rough.
So I lost a lot of points there.
Yeah,
but yeah, he's going to be a 3-time champion, it looks like. But as far as where you can find me at, man, I'm the homie Tate. You can catch me on the Homies podcast with the aforementioned Pay and some other fellas, Big G and B Dirt, on both the Homies and Homies Overtime on Friday night. Catch all that. That also airs on the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel and the Running Through the Jungle channel, Steel Curtain Network, and FFSN. Pump Your Brakes podcast, a Steeler podcast every Wednesday evening. That's Rather Cavalier, right? We do live sometime, but we mostly do on audio. And the Know It Alls on Sundays. And I started a new podcast about 4 or 5 weeks ago. FFSN came to me because I live in DC. Asked me could I put a Washington Commander podcast together. So I'm really just producing on that for the guys I kind of assimilated together. It's pretty fun. It's called Command Time. But so check that out wherever you get your podcast at. We run that live on the Know It Alls channel and then upload to audio. But so if you listening in the car, check out all those different podcasts. A lot of great guys, a lot of good content. Just like the homies June and B Foss and JJ3. We all podcast brothers, all on the Fans First Network. Support everybody. It don't take nothing to follow and subscribe, even hit a like. So we appreciate you.
All right. Foster.
Yo.
Tell them where you can find you and what you got going on before we get out of here.
You can find me on Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube. We have covered 3 different Detroit sports on that channel: the Pistons, the Lions, and the Detroit Tigers. The stove is getting hot. We just made a free agent acquisition, and we got a little bit more work to do, hopefully. So stay tuned, because me and Coach are definitely going to keep everybody posted as we get closer to spring training. We are getting closer and closer.
All righty. And like Foster said, subscribe to Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube. You can catch post-game podcast, and you can also catch Bleachers to Speakers, which is our Detroit Lions show. And Foster does baseball, Tigers baseball. We're trying to add more people to the roster so we can put out more shows and be like those frustrated Chicago fans from the media standpoint, because they have so many people on the payroll. We gotta tighten up, Foster. We gotta step our game up, because it's just me and you, bro.
Minus the frustration. We don't want that portion. We want winning.
No, they can keep that part. I mean, we don't want to tell Jerry to sell the team over here. We just want to keep this.
How y'all feel? That's what we on. Okay.
No, I just
shady.
Don't want any smoke. Just thank y'all for tuning in and subscribe to Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube.
You